Several Ontario municipalities will be paying more for policing next year, and in some cases, it's a lot more. Collingwood is being asked to pay $2 million more than last year for Ontario Provincial Police Service, and in Wasaga Beach, that number is $1.3 million above last year, which is an increase of 23%. Brian Smith is the mayor of Wasaga Beach, and he joins us now. Good morning, Mayor Smith.
Good morning, Nav. Pleasure to be with you.
Likewise. Mayor Smith, what was your first reaction when you heard about a 23% increase in the cost of policing?
Well, dumbfounded, I guess, would be the best word to explain it. And let me be very clear before we go any further, Nav, if I can. The town of Wasaga Beach, we have the utmost respect for the men and women in uniform, the OPP boots on the ground here in our community that keep us safe every day. These folks are doing an amazing job, and they are just great people that care about our community and keep us safe. So this is not about them. This is about simply the costs and this 23% increase, which is about 1.6% of our tax base. It's a 1.6% increase this year on our taxes, and this is budget time in Wasaga Beach. And so, council and staff are working as hard as we can to get that budget down to the number that is going to be the most palatable and as comfortable as possible for taxpayers here in Wasaga Beach. And we're at the 4% range, and this will add another 1.6%. That's a huge kick, if you will, to the tax base here in Wasaga Beach.
What rationale were you given about the increase?
We haven't been given any at this point, except the costs have increased at overtime, but no breakdown of any of that.
And at council last week, your CAO said the expectation was a 5 to 6% increase. Instead, you're facing a 23% increase, which is actually 4 times what you were expecting. Would this have been easier to stomach if the OPP did warn you in advance that the cost would be increasing like this?
Well, I don't know that it'd be any easier to stomach, Nav, but it certainly would have been easier to budget for and to work through, and it would have given us time to have conversation, which we absolutely plan on and will be doing with the OPP to understand these increases and why they are what they are. As our CAO indicated, average 4 to 6% is the norm. But 23%, and we're not alone. As you said earlier, this is almost right across the province. It's in many places it's even higher.
Now, if we take the 2025 cost out of the equation, I'm curious, Mayor Smith, does Wasaga Beach, in your opinion, get fair value for the money it spends on policing?
Well, listen, policing, like any other emergent service, is a very large part of the budget of every small town community. And, I'd even argue larger communities, but, it's one of those things that is a necessary evil, if you will. But at the same time, managing it and budgeting is important. And we have to be able to have clearer and more open communications moving forward as to the policing that we require in our municipalities and what those costs are going to be.
It was said during the council meeting that CAO Gary Marshall said the town would reach out about a review of the numbers. We mentioned earlier, Collingwood is another municipality that's seeing similar increases. Do you have any hope that a review is going to lower your costs?
Well, listen, we've always got to have hope. Without hope, what are we doing here? So absolutely, I believe that, the government and the minister in this case will absolutely listen and look at this. But it's clearly, if these are the kinds of increases we're going to be expecting, something is broken and we need to fix it. Listen, in Wasaga Beach, we are planning to dispute this bill to get more information. I would assume that many other communities will be doing the same thing. The 23% increase over last year for the OPP policing services is just not acceptable. It's not acceptable for policing. It wouldn't be acceptable for public works or fire or anything else we do in our community. So, I can tell you that, we're reaching out to our neighboring communities. We're reaching out to the OPP, and we're asking all the tough questions, and we will be and continue to understand how we got here and where we're going and how we're going to deal with this from here. we're not only doing that, but we're doubling down on our advocacy with the province. We're heading to Queen's Park on November the 7th with a renewed sense of urgency now as we ask for meetings with the Premier, the Minister of Infrastructure, Minister of Tourism, Minister of Environment. And we will very well now be looking to speak to possibly, the minister in charge of policing to have these discussions. We've got a lot going on in Wasaga Beach, as do other municipalities. And, our concern is Wasaga Beach here. And we've got a lot on the go in our redevelopment and a lot of bills. The OPP is not the only bill that council's faced with. As you know, we have a lot of bills to pay. And finding ways to do that is not easy at the best of times. When you add a 25% increase, or 23% increase, to one section alone, such as policing, that's difficult to swallow and tough to deal with.
As you prepare to go to Queen's Park in November to further advocate for these costs to go down, one has to wonder, Mayor Smith, if there's other options for policing out there. Have you had any preliminary conversations about what other options could look like?
I think there are probably some other options to look at. We're Wasaga Beach, a very proud member and part of the county of Simcoe. Simcoe County has 16 municipalities, 2 separated cities included in our county. It's a great county, and so are there other options? I'm not sure, but is it worth looking into? I believe it absolutely is.
Do you think there's even a possibility to potentially entertain the idea of a municipal police service?
Municipal police force for Wasaga Beach proper, I don't believe there's any ability to even consider that. The cost to start a police force would be astronomical. Not a cost that a small municipality or any municipality in this day and age can probably sustain or even consider. But, we have to, open our toolbox and look at all the options that might be available. But certainly a one-off police force for the town of Wasaga Beach is not a viable option.
Mayor Smith, we'll leave it there. But, yeah, we'll certainly continue following this story, and we'll try to check in with you after November 7th.
Nav, thanks very much. You have a great day.
Brian Smith is the mayor of Wasaga Beach.